Welcome, everyone, to the National Genealogical Society's 2023 annual meeting. I'm Catherine Doyle, president of NGS. Thank you for being here with us tonight to celebrate the past year as we look forward to our future. As we begin, let me first introduce Vice President Ellen Balthazar to share some thoughts about the theme of tonight's annual meeting. Ellen?
Thank you, Catherine, and good evening. Welcome to the NGS annual meeting celebrating our fiscal year 2023. And what a difference a year makes. Last summer, as we began our planning efforts for this fiscal year, which started back last October the 1st, businesses, organizations, and industries all over the globe were continuing to work out post-COVID kinks. Supply chain issues, labor shortages, and scheduling unpredictability, just to name a few. At NGS, we decided to use fiscal year 2023 to regroup, stabilize, and reimagine how to best serve you, our members, and the broader family history community coming out of this worldwide chaos. We set a goal to come back stronger. Tonight, we are proud to share that we have done that by focusing on several foundations laid during the pandemic years. Our three primary strategies have been: one, thriving societies and organizations who have the tools they need and a voice in growing the family history community; two, innovative membership and educational opportunities for all levels of researchers; and three, actions to empower and include everyone in the family history community. Many of you have played an essential part in the efforts to come back stronger this year. Thank you. As you hear from our various speakers this evening, I hope you will celebrate with us this exciting year of rebuilding. To start, Catherine, remind us of our mission as an organization.
Thanks, Ellen. The mission of the National Genealogical Society is to inspire, connect, and lead the family history community. We foster best practices in advocacy, education, preservation, and research. We enable people, cultures, and organizations to discover the past and create a lasting legacy for generations past, present, future. Our goal for this annual meeting is to share with you all the exciting ways we are living out this mission. This past year has certainly been an impactful one for NGS. With the mission as our guiding star, we continue to invest in strategic opportunities that provide greater member benefits, that strengthen our organizational members, and improve family history education. We worked hard to come together as a broader and deeper family history community, and we were so glad to see you all in Richmond and online for the 2023 Family History Conference. As we continue to work to make sure all members of the family history community feel welcomed and find a sense of belonging in the genealogy world, and we're going to talk more about that tonight as well. And as our mission states, NGS is committed to connecting all aspects of the family history community, whether you are a budding historian or a professional researcher, a society leader, or an information provider. Tonight, I'm going to ask several board members to share what they have been up to and what that means for all of us at NGS. You'll hear first tonight from Sherry Passy, Vice President for Society and Organization Management. She will discuss how organizations' voices are being strengthened and heard at NGS. Then, Ellen will be back, subbing in tonight for Lisa Fanning, Director and Chair of our Membership Committee, to highlight some key member benefits and how we are creating new opportunities for member collaboration. Andre Kearns, Director and Chair of the DEI Committee, will give us a quick update on how we are measuring and tracking our DEI progress at NGS. Executive Director Matt Menashes will pop in with some survey questions. Later, Angela McGee, Education Director, will talk about our newest education course. Development Chair and Director David Rencher will report on our new partnership with the National Archives. And finally, our Treasurer Doug Klein will present our audited financial statements for fiscal year 2022. Then we'll come back at the end for some questions and answers. Before we begin, I'd also like to acknowledge the rest of the board who's here. They include our Secretary, Sam Williams, past President Ben Spratling, Directors Sarah Gredler, Robert Johnson, Marlis Humphrey, Janice Cross-Gilliard, Ed Donachie, and Judy Namramun. Thanks to the entire NGS leadership team for helping us come back strong from the pandemic. So now, Sherry, will you take it away?
All right. Thank you, Catherine. Hi, I'm Sherry Hudson-Passy, Vice President for Society and Organization Management. The Come Back Stronger theme resonates with where we've been this past year and where we're going with our organization members, societies, libraries, family associations, archives, and other institutions. Well, as you may remember, the pandemic started about 6 months before we completed the merger of NGS and the Federation of Genealogical Societies. Since that time, we've been strengthening the community of member organizations that became part of NGS. We continue to evolve and grow in order to strengthen all of our member organizations and ensure they are successful and sustainable in the long term. The most important aspect of this community of member organizations is the Delegate Council, which gives genealogy organizations a place for their voices to be heard and influence the direction of the family history community. The Delegate Council is supported by a steering committee that provides ongoing guidance to the council and NGS. Let me give a big shout out to Kate Townsend and Karen Mulholland for their leadership as chair and vice chair the past year. And thank you to all the members of the steering committee and the members of the Delegate Council. Your volunteer work to support your member organization is greatly appreciated. NGS now has 224 delegates registered from 551 member organizations. We ask that each member organization name a delegate to represent them and an administrator who manages the account information and accesses most of the online benefits and resources. So at the current time, we have 356 administrators. The Delegate Council meets quarterly, 3 times via Zoom, and once in person at the NGS Family History Conference. This past year, delegates discussed organization needs and benefits, funding priorities, planning with foresight, and new partnerships. Now, speaking of those new partnerships, we had a fantastic second in-person meeting in Richmond, and the delegates were the first to hear that we are merging with conferencekeeper.org. We're excited to do more to promote organizations and their events through Conference Keeper. And of course, the work of the tireless Tammy Osmer-Mize, who will become part of the NGS team. Delegates also voted to recommend a dues increase for organization members and the creation of a task force to develop a program that will recognize excellence in our member organizations. After the Delegate Council meeting in Richmond, we enjoyed Focus. We expanded on the Focus on Society's events of past years by adding sessions for libraries and archives. And we also celebrated the 2023 SLAM Idea Showcase. It was so fun and energizing to spend time learning from societies, libraries, and others who are doing wonderful things. Be sure to check out the 2023 SLAM videos on YouTube. They are amazing. Now, If you are a member of a genealogy organization, please make sure that your organization is a member of NGS. Stay engaged through your delegate and administrator and contribute to strengthening this community. Organizations and Communities Manager Kate Smith can get you info to help you join or appoint a delegate or administrator. As you can see from the numbers given a few moments ago, we have a lot of organizations without admins or delegates. We need those numbers to grow. There will be more outreach to members who do not have people in these roles and are missing out. And Kate has started hosting quarterly Zoom open office hours for delegates to talk between meetings and for admins to get a chance to chat. She'll continue those, and we'll keep building communication with organizations. I mentioned that a new task force is forming to recognize organization members operating with excellence. As this takes shape, we'll need to look at what education and training is needed to serve member organizations and help them to earn this future recognition. Genealogy organizations face many challenges and are working on many projects and programs to remain vibrant and relevant. For the next several years, heading into our nation's 250th anniversary, we will focus on public outreach programs. With Vivid Picks, we just launched the Family Matters Community Engagement Program and Outreach Toolkit, which includes the Vivid Picks Memory Station, hardware and software, education courses, and marketing materials. Organization members can request a toolkit loan and host scanning events to encourage more people in these activities and use these events as membership recruitment opportunities. We all need more membership. Rick Voigt is on tonight and is going to drop some information in the chat about a road trip that he and Tammy Mize from Conference Keeper are doing this summer to help member organizations come back strong. In 2024, the focus event is devoted to deep dives into outreach programs and ideas, expanding on the SLAM format to bring more information about organization projects and activities that get the public engaged in family history. And as I said, we have an eye on the upcoming America 250th celebration in 2026 and are cultivating partnerships so organization members have the resources and connections they need to participate in that historic moment and share family history as a key part of our nation's story. We're always taking feedback and suggestions to enhance organization membership, and we'll keep growing and strengthening this amazing, diverse community. We invite more organizations to join NGS and add their voice. We truly are better and stronger together, and it is together that this community will lead and inspire for generations to come. And now I would like to turn it over to Matt for a few survey questions.
Thanks, Sherry. Good evening, everybody. We greatly appreciate that you joined us this evening, and for those who are watching the recording later, thank you as well. We're going to ask a few poll questions tonight throughout the evening. So if you're on a desktop computer, the survey should be easy to respond to. If you're on a mobile device, you may need to look for the 3 more dots at the bottom of your screen to see the survey. So let's see what our first survey asks. 3 questions. How much would you say your family research progressed in the past year? Did you write a family narrative? And did you take a genealogy or family history course or attend a lecture or conference in the past year? Let's see what we get. We'll give folks a moment to fill out the poll. We have about 200 people on our annual meeting tonight. We'll give it a few more seconds. About 3/4 of you have responded so far. All right. Give it another second or two. We're up to 90% participation in the poll. And here we go. So looking at our results tonight, 40% of you have progressed a little in your family research history work in the past year. 67%, or excuse me, 67 out of 193 respondents, 35% have progressed quite a bit, and 25% of you have done a lot, but nobody has completed their family tree. Did you write a family narrative this year? 31% said yes, 52% said no, 16% of you started but did not finish, and 3 of you are so busy scrolling social media you don't have time to write. And then our third question tonight, did you take a genealogy or family history conference or course or attend a lecture or conference in the past year? 90% of you have, 10% of you haven't. Nobody thought the year flew by so fast that they can't remember. Well, and that's a good sign. So thank you all for participating in the first poll of the evening. Now I'd like to ask Ellen Balthazar to come back and talk about ways that now I'd like to ask Ellen to talk about how NGS provides ways for a diverse family history community to connect and collaborate. Ellen, off to you.
Thanks, Matt, and hello again. I'm subbing tonight for Lisa Fanning, Director and Chair of the Membership Committee, who unfortunately lost her voice, but is here with us watching nonetheless. Lisa, I hope you feel good real soon. As you know, NGS has created many pathways that help members connect and collaborate in our diverse genealogy and family history community, a community that links us to a vast array of experiences, histories, and perspectives, much like a vibrant kaleidoscope. Tonight, I'm going to highlight a few of those pathways I hope you are connecting with, update you on what we've been doing since the last annual meeting, and share some ways you can become even more engaged with NGS. Following the launch of Member Connects in 2021, we have had several speakers share their perspectives and experiences on an array of engaging topics. Since our last annual meeting, members were introduced to the stories of Black homesteaders and learned about the impact increases to the USCIS fees could have on the genealogy community. Tonight, we're bringing you this annual meeting. Like many who participate in these community connector events, I love the opportunity to learn new information together. But it's also a lot of fun to stay online after the main program ends and hear how everyone is doing, what research they're working on, and anything they'd like to share. We have lots of fun with those Member Connects. So please be on the lookout for the next Member Connect event and a new social event to complement Member Connects that's lined up for the fall and winter of this year. I hope you're also taking advantage of NGS's Forum. For those new to the platform, Forum is a place where you can hang out online with NGS members while on the go or from the comfort of home. It is a space where you can post questions, share ideas and information, discuss best practices, and collaborate. Since launching Forum, we've had over 3,000 members connect with the community. Many have updated their Forum profile, and over 300 discussion threads and Q&A posts have been started across all of the various communities. But we would love to see those numbers grow so that everyone can stay connected to the NGS community. Let me tell you about the newest community called Surnames. This community is made up of folks who are posting the surnames they're researching along with dates and locations in hopes of connecting with fellow members who might be doing similar research. We want more members to continue adding posts on their research and encourage members to keep an eye on those posts and reply if they have any helpful information. Forum is searchable. So members can look for others who have already posted about a surname to find out who might need assistance or who might have information they could use. You never know what you might discover about your family tree, or if you may be able to help someone else have a new branch on their tree. If you're an individual member or an organization delegate who has not logged into Forum recently or at all, please go check it out. There is a help FAQ page if you have questions, and tutorial videos on YouTube to help you walk through how to use the platform. Believe me, if I can do it, anybody can do it. It becomes more valuable with each member who uses it. So join us on Forum and spread the word. I'd like to share with you that we also had an exciting time welcoming new NGS members, first-time attendees, BYU students, and other genealogy students and staff at a reception at our conference in Richmond. These gatherings are always a great opportunity to connect and recruit more people into our organization by tapping into our deep roots. Before I hand it back to Matt, I want to underscore the importance of taking advantage of all of the wonderful benefits you receive with your NGS membership. Just a few to highlight. Be sure to check out our online genealogy courses. We have restructured the education program with 2 new courses in the last 2 years. With your NGS membership, you can save money on the Foundations in Family History and the Advanced Skills in Genealogy courses. Our education director, Angela McGee, will talk about the Advanced Skills class in just a few minutes. Additionally, 2 of our most popular member benefits are access to the NGS magazine and the NGS Quarterly, or more commonly called the Q, where you can stay informed about the latest genealogy trends, society updates, and research discoveries. Lastly, if you or someone you know is interested in serving on the NGS Membership Committee or the NGS Awards Committee, please be on the lookout for an email from NGS calling for committee nominations very soon. You can always email us at volunteer@ngsgenealogy.org for more information. Okay, I think it's time for another quick poll. Matt, back to you.
All right. Okay, folks, building on our theme of Come Back Stronger, we want to ask you a few questions about your membership experience and what you'd like to see from us in the future. So here we go. We have 3 questions. Tell us which one of these member benefits you use the most, and that's a single choice answer. The second question and the third one are choose as many as you'd like. Tell us which member benefits you would like to see added. Choose all that apply. And what would make your membership experience better? And choose all that will apply. And we'll give this a few moments. Here come the answers. We'll give it a few moments. We have about half of you who finished the poll questions. About 3/4. We'll just get the last few of you. All right, the results are looking interesting. Give it 30 more seconds. Or whenever I see the last one coming in. All right, we have about 90% of you answered the poll. And the results are, which one of these member benefits you use the most? Clear Leader is almost tied with NGS Magazine and NGS Quarterly. Tell us which member benefits you would like to see added. I'm surprised. Access to historical newspapers and federal records are the two leading member benefits you're looking for, but also high numbers for more evening webinars and for discounts for GRIP, which is great to hear. And then our third question tonight, what would make your membership experience better? More communication from NGS, 25%, a better website layout, 22%, dedicated member services webpage, 35%, and more information on my benefits, 35%. But the number one is more connections with fellow members. And that's what tonight and Member Connects is all about and what Forum is all about. So thank you all. So I'm going to stop that share. And we are going to introduce Andre Kearns, chair of our DEI committee. Andre?
Please don't give me another job. Thank you, and hi, everyone. I'm Andre Kearns, board member and chair of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. So the NGS board established our DEI committee in 2021 to help NGS become a society open to all people seeking to discover their family histories and give voice to their ancestors. And an important part of our committee's charge was to research and atone for our society's past history of exclusion. So I'm excited to share that this year we made significant progress against this charge. At our 2023 Family History Conference in Richmond, NGS issued a public apology for failing to confront the society's historical bigotry, racism, and discrimination. The apology, which was announced by Catherine and myself, coincided with the release of our NGS authored article, Our Journey from Exclusion to Inclusion, available now on our webpage, which details the society's commitment to make its history transparent, actively atone for its past practices of exclusion, and share its vision for and commitment to inclusion as an organization. Our apology at the conference also included a very special moment. We invited Aaron and Justin Barton, the grandsons of James Warris Moore, an African-American employee of the National Archives who was denied membership into the National Genealogical Society in 1960, to join us at the conference. Our apology generated significant press coverage for NGS, including a feature article in the Washington Post. I'm also happy to share that at conference, we exceeded our goal to have 25% of conference content be on either DEI topics or come from DEI representative speakers. 27%, or 29 out of 108 of our total conference sessions met this criteria. Our featured events also align to key DEI themes. African-American executive Christy Coleman, head of the Jamestown Yorktown Foundation and Museum of the American Revolution, was our opening session speaker. She was amazing. Jewish American author Meryl Frank was our NGS luncheon speaker. She was incredibly powerful. We also introduced the inaugural James Dent Walker lecture series in partnership with the Afro-American Historical and Genealogical Society, and we were so excited about that. As I said last year, NGS puts tremendous value in the diversity of our membership. If your genealogy organization would like to learn more about NGS's work in this area and how to apply it to your organization or society, please reach out to either me or Catherine, and we will be happy to share all that we're doing. Now, back to you, Catherine.
Thanks, Andre. While much of our effort this past year has been focused on developing voice for our organizational members, enhancing collaboration opportunities for individuals and organizations, and studying the future, we have not lost focus on the traditional strengths of NGS, including our top-notch education programs. Now, let me please introduce Angela McGee, our Education Director, to talk to you about our newest course released earlier this year. Welcome, Angela.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I would like to talk to you about our new NGS course, Advanced Skills in Genealogy. This course is designed to help intermediate to advanced genealogists study the major genealogical records and learn the methodology that has proven successful for identifying ancestors. The course is presented online in Canvas, and students can work at their own pace. They complete written assignments for each lesson and have 18 months to complete the full course. Advanced Skills in Genealogy consists of 19 modules that cover organization, evaluating sources and information, all types of genealogical records and sources, DNA, and genealogical writing. Each student has a mentor who grades 10 of the assignments and provides helpful feedback on their work. The record modules are balanced with instruction on methodology throughout the course. They each feature hands-on exercises, examples of fan club or cluster research, and a case study demonstrating how to solve a genealogical problem using that type of record. Although students can work through the online content in their own time, they also can interact with other students in the course discussion boards and the bi-monthly live Zoom sessions with the NGS education team. Those who complete the course and all of the assignments are awarded a certificate in Advanced Skills in Genealogy. The NGS family of courses includes the Foundations in Family History series for beginning to intermediate family researchers, the new Advanced Skills course, and 12 continuing genealogical studies courses that cover special topics. To learn more, see the genealogy courses page on the NGS website. You may have seen an email this week announcing that NGS will present a new series on artificial intelligence for genealogists. It will start with a free member event on September 6th and continue with a hands-on course in October and November. We're excited to bring this to you. Thank you. And now let me turn it back over to Matt Menashes.
Thank you, Angela. As you know, we announced in June that NGS is acquiring the Genealogical Research Institute of Pittsburgh from its founders, our friends Elisa Scalise Powell and Deborah Deal. We're so proud to have been entrusted by Deb and Elisa with the Institute's future. Elisa and Deb and our education team worked together to select classes for 2024. The lineup includes the Advanced DNA Evidence class by Blaine Bettinger, which will be offered during both the in-person and virtual sessions, Military Research and Methodology from Michael Strauss, Virginia Records from Barbara Vines Little, a workshop on land and property records from Kimberly Powell, Midwest Research from Jay Fonkert, Mastering the Art of Genealogical Documentation from the master himself, Tom Jones, and Judy Russell's course on Women and Children First, plus more from Paula Stewart Warren, David Rencher, Kelly Jo Bergheimer, Carrie Taplin, Emily Garber, Sonny Morton, and Jerry Smith. You can find the list of courses on the GRIP website, and I'll drop a link in the chat in a moment at gripit.org/future-courses. And don't forget, again, NGS members will receive a registration discount for GRIP as a benefit. So look for more information from us this fall. You'll hear more from us and from our new GRIP co-managers, Leslie Anderson and Christy Sexton, soon. So Catherine, back to you.
Thanks, Matt. One of the jewels of the National Genealogical Society is our program to honor excellence in family history work. Our terrific awards committee chair, Judy Naimer-Munn, has asked me to remind you that we have entered award season. We need you to tell us about the great genealogical work in your local area that deserves national recognition. Our competitions shine a bright light on the exceptional writing done by genealogists and family historians. And we are particularly thrilled to read submissions to our Rubicam Youth Writing Competition. And our national awards, including the Stern Lifetime Achievement Award and the Zooks Distinguished Service Award, express our appreciation and gratitude to the people who make genealogy and family history such a vibrant community. The deadline for submissions is December 15th, and you can find everything you need to know about the different awards and the process for entering a submission on our website. Now, I'd like to turn it over to David Renscher, chair of our development committee, who will talk about the latest work we are launching to preserve records at the National Archives. David?
Thank you, Catherine. It is such a pleasure to be with you tonight. First, I want to thank all of you for helping us exceed our goal to celebrate NGS's 120th anniversary this summer. Your generous contributions to the 120th campaign memorialized or honored your family and genealogy friends and colleagues. Your tributes are inspiring to read. You can read those on our website. In addition, due to your generosity, NGS will plant 200 trees through One Tree Planted to support forest restoration in the Appalachian Mountains. I'm also excited to talk about the upcoming projects for our National Archives. With the merger of the National Genealogical Society and the Federation of Genealogical Societies, the responsibility for the oversight and management of the Stern-Nari Gift Fund and the Preserve the Pensions Project both became the responsibility of NGS. In 2015, digital image capture was suspended while the National Archives and Records Administration revamped their policies surrounding digital image capture and their relationships with third-party image providers. That process took much longer than anticipated, and the restart of digital imaging did not start until earlier this year in April. We're so glad that it has restarted. In total, the funding needed to complete the conservation and imaging of the War of 1812 pension records was $2.7 million. The costs for that project were generously supported by a one-to-one image capture from Fold 3, so that we were only charged for one of every two images taken. At the annual NGS conference in Richmond, Virginia this year, NGS announced the second phase of this Preserve the Pensions project, which is the conservation and digitization of the veteran bounty land records, specifically the bounty land warrant application files from 1800 to 1900, including the bounty land warrant applications of Indians based on their service from 1812 to 1855. There are rejected applications from the Revolutionary War veterans and applications from those who served in the War of 1812, the Indian Wars, and the Mexican War, thus extending far beyond the first pension project for only those who served in the War of 1812 and their widows. Funding for this project requires us to raise $2.5 million, and like phase one, the conservation of the files is very important, in addition to capturing the digital images. The project will place all of the files in new folders and new Hollander storage boxes. Continuous handling of the records deteriorates the paper on which they are recorded. This toll continues to put the records at long-term risk as they are physically accessed. The file envelopes in which the records are stored are inferior for long-term preservation and need to be replaced and brought up to current archival standards. The current boxes in which the records are stored are referred to as papoose boxes in the archival industry. They also need to be upgraded to the more enclosed Hollinger boxes to keep dust out of them. The applications contain personal details about those who served, frequently information about their enlistment, in some instances, copies of discharge certificates, physical descriptions, and other valuable genealogical details. In addition to the soldiers who served, there are claims submitted by widows and dependents. The example on the screen actually came from the Indian files and is an Indian widow's pension application. These require proof of marriage using civil records, or in some instances, records in their private possession, such as this last example. This is a complete transcription of a family Bible. So in addition to information about the one who served in the military, all of the details about their siblings, and in some instances their children, are included. In this particular example, there are 3 generations listed within the file, all with birth dates. Fundraising in earnest is beginning this year in preparation for the payments that will become due beginning in 2024. NARA will begin the conservation work in 2024, and NGS will begin making quarterly payments. From the amount that needs to be raised, you can see that this ambitious undertaking will require significant funding. There are a number of ways that you can help us with this project. Please think of things you can do to help spread the word with your friends and others. Please share information about the project and help NGS keep it in view of the community. If you're a society officer or board member, please make sure that your board discusses an amount to which they can pledge annually over the next 4 years, and that they discuss ways to raise the funds. When the Stern NARA Gift Fund was conceived by Rabbi Malcolm Stern many years ago, the vision was that every society that was a member of FGS at that time, and now NGS, would contribute $1 per year per member. If societies will commit to at least that minimum and then look for other funding opportunities, collectively, we can make this happen and preserve these precious records for future generations. Individually, all of us can look for ways that we can make a difference and contribute what we feel is best for our circumstances. With this project, we will need to raise the entire amount, since there will not be a third-party imaging of the documents, giving us the benefit of one-for-one images. Thank you to all who have contributed during phase 1, to the Preserve the Pensions Project, and thank you in advance for your support of this ambitious phase 2 project to preserve the veteran bounty land records. Now, let me turn the Zoom over to Doug Klein, our treasurer, who will present our latest audited financial statements. Doug?
Thank you, David. Hi, everybody. I'm Doug Klein, treasurer of the National Genealogical Society. I've served in this role since October 2022. Before becoming the NGS treasurer, I spent 35 years in various government and public accounting roles. I am so proud to join NGS's board and give something back to the genealogy community, which has been much more than just a hobby for me over the last decade. Tonight, I'm here to present to you the results of the annual audit for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2021 to September 30, 2022. As you'll see, and like many other organizations, 2022 was a rough year, but we've come back stronger in 2023. I'll talk a little bit about our 2022 performance and also share thoughts on strategic decisions we're making to build the future of NGS. Let's start with the audit. These audit numbers include the statement of financial position and the related statement of activities, the changes in net assets and statement of functional expenses and cash flows. But you can download the full financial statements from the NGS homepage, including those for the past 3 years. We are proud to once again announce that NGS received an unqualified opinion, which means that in our independent auditor's judgment, our financial statements are fairly and appropriately presented without any identified exceptions and in compliance with generally accepted accounting principles. Our audits for the past several years are available on GuideStar at guidestar.org. Turning to the statement of financial position, commonly referred to as the balance sheet. This includes total assets as of September 30, 2022, which you can see midway down the page. We have 2.646 million. Those total assets are comprised primarily of cash and marketable securities of 2.4 million. Net assets shown near the bottom of the slide decreased from 2.65 million at the end of fiscal 2021 to 1.9 million at the end of fiscal 2022. This reduction was partly due to the performance of the stock market during the fiscal year. Our invested assets account for 415,000 of that net reduction. As you may be aware, some economic uncertainty remains, but recent market performance and other economic indicators highlight improving conditions, and we are seeing improvements in our portfolio this year. As of 10 August, just a week ago, our investments and cash balances have rebounded to 2.75 million. It's important to remember that we manage our investments for the long term, and swings from year to year are to be expected. The other piece of the decrease in net assets was an operating loss of 272,000, which accounts for most of the remainder of the decline. The majority of this loss is related to the 2022 conference in Sacramento, one of the first in-person genealogy events after the pandemic. On the statement of activities, commonly referred to as the income statement, NGS saw increases in both our publications, bookstore net revenue, and other income, which includes our donor contributions. We slightly declined top-line revenue in fiscal 2022 in our membership and education programs. Let me focus a little on membership revenue. Last year, we reported an increase in total membership due to the pandemic bump. Unaudited membership numbers show that we had 9,800 total members at the end of fiscal year 2020. By the end of fiscal year 2021, membership had reached 10,300. That has come back down with 9,500 members at the end of fiscal 2022, comparable to the levels we had in 2020. Continuing on to the expenses, the total expenses of 1,593,000 near the bottom of the slide were up compared to the prior year of 1,363,000, mainly from returning to an in-person conference, as well as investing in our education courses. This current fiscal year, we are seeing a nice revenue bump from our foundations in family history and new advanced skills in genealogy courses. As I said, our 2022 results were not as solid as we would like them to be, but we recognize that they were largely the result of the pandemic. We are now focused on strategically investing in programs and services designed to promote revenue growth and serve our members and the genealogy community's needs. In addition, we are expanding our fundraising to ensure NGS's long-term financial health and prosperity, and to make investments in critical records preservation, like the Veteran Land Records Project and genealogy education via new online courses and books. If you have any questions for me on these financial matters, please email me at the address on the screen, or I'll be available during the Q&A at the end. And thank you very much. Catherine, back to you.
Thanks, Doug. And thanks to all of you for joining us tonight. Now I'm going to ask Executive Director Matt Menashes, ask Doug to come back, and our Development Committee Chair David Rencher to join me as panelists to answer any questions that you may have. Please type your questions in the chat or raise your virtual hand by clicking raise hand under the reaction buttons on your Zoom menu. We'll do the best we can to answer all of your questions. Matt will serve as our MC and will be available to answer questions. Matt?
All right, everybody. We'll be taking questions, as Catherine said, by raising your hand or your digital hand or typing them into the chat. If you raise your hand on screen digitally or like this, you'll move to the top and we'll be able to see you, or we'll be able to repeat some of the questions that are in the chat. So the first question for David Rencher: where are the 1812 records available online?
So the records are free on the Fold3 website, and they will continue to be free. That's the Project One, that's the Preserve the Pensions. When we start posting the Veteran Bounty Land warrant, those will first go up on the NARA website. And the way NARA works is that all of the images on their website can be obtained by third parties. So sites like Ancestry, Fold3, Family Search, we can all use those images on other websites. And so obviously they would be free on Family Search, and Fold3 and Ancestry and others will have to choose whether or not they put those behind their paywall. But one of our main concerns is that the images, because they are funded by donations, are always available for free. And the images will always be free on the NARA website and through third-party organizations who choose to put them on their site.
Thanks, David. Another question about the Veteran Bounty Land Records project. What is the total anticipated fundraising goal for that project?
$2.5 million is the total needed, and NGS is to make regular quarterly payments over the next 4 years, beginning in January of 2024. So you can do the math on that and come up with how much we have to have quarterly.
All right. We had a question in the chat that Kate's answered for someone, but I wanted to make sure we got a chance to answer it for everyone. The question was, do members of member organizations have access to forum or member connects? And if not, why? And if yes, how do they access it? So the folks who have access to forum and to member connects are NGS individual members. Individual and organization membership serve two distinct purposes. For our individual membership of NGS, the purpose is to connect, to educate, and to bring the community together. For our organizations, our purpose is to support them in growing and being stronger as organizations. So the member benefits we provide to organizations are designed to help them grow as organizations. And the member benefits we provide for individuals are much more focused on the genealogy front. So if that helps answer that question for everyone. There are some member benefits we do provide individuals that we do license to our member organizations to use. For instance, they receive digital or pay for print copies of the NGSQ and the NGS magazine. Those are licensed for one copy to one person. So lending, like in a lending library. So if you have other questions about organization member benefits, please email Kate Smith at ksmith@ngsgenealogy.org. Let's see if we have any questions, live questions, and we'll check the chat again. Any live questions? I'm not seeing any pop up. So we'll check the chat. Looks like there's several. How many individuals versus organizations are members of NGS? And I have the answer to that question. We have 9,000 members. Of that, 540 are organization members. Let's see. Yes, there is a question about, will I be able to share this recording with my board? Yes, you will be able to do that. This recording will be on the NGS YouTube channel with all the other annual meeting recordings we've had. Our Slam Idea Showcase winners, all of that is on the NGS YouTube channel, which is available to anyone. Let's see what other questions we had. We had a question about where does someone go to donate to the Veteran Bounty Land Records Project? David, you want to address that one?
Those donations can be done on the NGS website once we establish the file for that. So there will be two ways you can donate to NGS. One would be to the general NGS fund, and the other one will be designated specifically for the Veteran Bounty Land Fund. Right now, the easiest way to do it is to simply pop a check in the mail and mail it to the NGS headquarters.
Yeah. For those of you who would like to do that for the Veteran Bounty Land Records Project, just put in the memo line Veteran Bounty Land. And then that money will be set in that fund. Okay. Let's see what other questions we had here. What type of DNI membership outreach has the NGS done or plans to do? Diversity and inclusion outreach has NGS done or plans to do? Maybe I'll ask Andre or Catherine to respond to that.
Andre, do you want to take that?
Sure. We have plans to really, I think a lot of the outreach you're seeing and what we shared for what we achieved this year, but that's just getting started. I think one of the things we want to do is really create resources that allow us to engage societies and really equip and empower our societies to implement, comparable plans locally with their society. So that's one of our key goals going into the balance of this year and into next year.
Thanks,
That
Andre.
question was from Jennifer. Thank you, Jennifer. She also said that she was heartened by the apology and that this effort is near and dear to her heart, and it's near and dear to all of our hearts. So thank you for that question.
We have a question from Pam Paschke about the on Friday at midnight, the lecture proposals for the 2024 conference are due. And Pam's question has to do with sponsored proposals, sponsored session proposals. And Pam, the answer to the question, the sponsorship of a proposal or a lecture for the conference does come with a fee associated with it. And we will have more information going out shortly about the benefits that come along with sponsorship. It'll include everything from name and logo recognition and a few other items, as well as early access and exhibitor support. So an organization that sponsors will pay $750 and a booth would be included in with that. Okay. We'll have more details on that soon. We have a question, David, about which states are actually David and Angela probably both can answer this, or one of the two of them. Please remind us which states are included in the Bounty Land records.
So the records aren't organized by state. It covers the US. And right now, what they've been doing is they've been digitizing them by letter of the alphabet. And the Preserve the Pensions project is up through the start of the letter S. And then when we move to the Veteran Bounty Land files, we actually intend to do the 55 boxes for the American Indians first. And then we will start on the alphabetical index for the others. It won't take them long to move through those first 55 boxes. So I imagine that those will go up, and then they intend to publish them as they are digitized. So they won't be waiting, we'll publish as we go. So they're organized by letter of the alphabet, not by state.
Thanks, David. Angela, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I mean, the early bounty lands were in districts in Ohio and then the War of 1812 districts, but by the acts in the 1850s, they could locate that land in any of the 30 public land states.
Great, thank you.
Matt, I did a quick check at Fold 3, and I'm thrilled to report that there were updates today. So they're definitely making progress on the War of 1812 pension files. They're giving the number now as 84% complete. Wonderful.
Thank you, Catherine. We had a question about the 2024 conference. Explain why the 2024 NGS annual conference will be virtual only. I'm glad somebody asked that question because we've been thinking about that a lot since we announced it in June. When we made that announcement in June, I talked about the realities that the meeting and events industry is facing post-pandemic. We need the time to look at the model for the conference and reimagine what the future is. and work with partners throughout the genealogy community to determine what the future of in-person conferences in the genealogy world looks like. So we'll be looking at innovations for in-person events, bringing more experiential learning to the table, and looking at ways to create lasting memories with more social events and networking for people at an in-person event. So we're going to be working very hard over the next several months with the entire genealogy community to envision what that is and how we're going to be able to bring leading organizations together for a new national conference. So we're just beginning that work, and we just need the time to bring it all together for 2025. So that's why we're moving to a virtual conference in 2024 to give us the space and time to reimagine. We did have a question for Doug. Doug, how much of the cash and investments is restricted cash?
The restricted, I guess I'd have to pull the financial statements up. That catches me a little off guard there. I think we are at about 1.25 million is in the restricted category, roughly.
It sounds about right. Eva had asked that question. Eva, if you want to follow up with an email to Doug at treasurer@ngsgenealogy.org, he'll be able to get you the financials and show you those numbers.
And I wanted to say that in the financials, it's in a footnote. So if you go back to, I'm thinking it's like footnote 7 or what, somewhere in that range. So it's about 8, 10, 12 pages past the end of financials. There's a footnote that has the detail for the restricted funds.
Right. We had another question about the investments. How are they diversified, and what are our investments?
Yep, that's a great question. So we have our investments managed by a investment bank that is Truist Bank is who we use. And that used to be, what were they before, Matt?
SunTrust.
SunTrust. Okay, so
NBD&T.
yep, big names there. These are managed accounts. So we pay portfolio fees for, and I think it's 2.5%. I checked to see, or 2.5 points is what we pay for the managed accounts. And I saw that come across, so I just looked real quickly. Roughly, we've got about 20% in equities. We've got fixed income, 30 to 35%, and we have exchange traded funds, ETFs, which are, those are primarily designed for value preservation and movement of the market. That makes up a little over 50% of where that's invested, and those are actively managed, by our brokers on a real-time basis, and we do have them come in and present to the finance committee periodically, and we're going to be having them come in for one of our board meetings in the next 6 months.
And just to follow up on that, we do manage, and our investment advisors manage under an investment policy that the board adopted a few years ago. That is very modest in its outlook. So it's a relatively conservative investment policy. Okay, we had a few other questions. Let's see. We had a question that we'll ask Kate to respond to directly to David White. David had a question about whether the Sons of the American Revolution and the Sons and Daughters of the Pilgrims are member organizations of NGS. So we'll get back to you, David, with the answer to that question from Kate. Let's see, any other questions? There's a few here. The question was, I missed the financials on the 2023 conference. Was it in the red or the black? We are still getting bills in for the 2023 conference, so we can't answer that question. We will be able to answer that. It is very close to break even at this point. We don't know whether it's going to be up or down. But we are still paying bills and getting bills in from the conference, which was, almost 3 months ago. So I wish I could give you a better answer on that, but as soon as we have that number, you can certainly email us and we'll get back to you on it. Let's see.
Matt, Karen asked a question about the final pension payment files at NARA.
There you go.
The way these projects are taken on is that it's a mutual agreement between the two organizations. And so NARA approached us with the Veteran Bounty Land files as the next project. If when we've completed that one, their choice for the next record is the final pension payment file, then that may be the next one we take on. So it's always a combination of negotiations between us and NARA. So plead your case, Karen.
Okay, any other questions? If not, I'll turn it back over to Catherine to finish out the evening, and then we can keep the lines open for member connects. Catherine?
There was one more comment there.
Is there one more?
Somebody being, it's a comment about being excited about the AI in genealogy in September. So I totally agree. I'm excited about that too. So thanks everyone for your questions and for joining us tonight. If we didn't have a question answered or some other concern pops up, please feel free to email Matt or me. I hope that the information we've shared this evening assures you that NGS is focused on inspiring, connecting, and leading the family history community. Before we close tonight, I want to remind everyone to save the date for our next Member Connects. The event is on artificial intelligence coming up on the 6th of September. The registration link, I think Matt is going to drop that in the chat. And also mark your calendars for next year's virtual conference, May 16th to 18th, 2024. You can find updates on the conference at our conference site, conference.ngsgenealogy.org. Thank you all for attending our annual meeting. We'll have a video probably in a week or two, maybe, Matt, up on the YouTube channel. It's an honor to serve you as your president and to voice our appreciation to all of you for being with us tonight to celebrate NGS coming back stronger in fiscal year 2023. If you want to stay, the Zoom will be open until 9:30 Eastern time. So that'll give you time to chat and for you all to connect. So thank you for being here tonight.